The next thing you need to consider is having a promise in your story. Oftentimes, in many stories, there's a promise in the beginning or something that we see in the beginning that is shifted or changed or it's fulfilled in some sort of way. So if you look at, for example, the original first Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, you have this character, Luke Skywalker, in the beginning who is on this sand planet. And there is a specific scene where you see him looking out into the stars and wishing that he could go on some sort of adventure or wishing he could leave Tatooine and leave this sand planet. And that is a promise to your reader, foreshadowing that that's going to happen. You're foreshadowing to your reader that he is going to result to that. Perhaps you have another story where, I'm just making this up on the fly, but maybe you have a character who is writing a book and the whole plot of the story is how her relationship is failing with her boyfriend or her husband, and she is having problems balancing life and this relationship, right? Well, perhaps in the very beginning of the book, you have her have a phone call from her agent and say, the publisher said you have 30 days to finish this book or they're going to drop your book. Now there's a promise, a foreshadow of your story that this book is probably going to be finished or that something's going to result of this later on in the story, even if that's not the main focus of the story, even if the story is not completely about her publishing this book and it's actually about her fixing her relationship with her husband or boyfriend and bringing them back together and balancing her life better, you could still have the end result of the story. Maybe she finishes her book. That was a promise that was foreshadowed early on. Another example of a movie perhaps is the movie Shrek. If you look at the movie Shrek and you look at the very introduction scene, you see Shrek enjoying his privacy and you see Shrek is happy with being by himself. And then you see this scene where these guys come to hunt the ogre and he scares them all off and laughs at them and says to stay out. That is foreshadowing that someone else is probably going to come in. His privacy is going to be interrupted again and possibly he has to learn something through all this. So in your story, think about what you want the promise to be in the intro of the story. Something that is seen early on in the story so that your character can see a little glimmer of foreshadowing, something that is going to be seen later on in the story. Even if it's not part of the main plot, it's something that your character goes through, whether it's something that is fulfilled and they actually get something they want, or maybe it's something that they say they don't want and then you see it happen, or whether it, whatever the case may be, have a promise in the beginning of your story that your reader can read in between the lines and see that this is foreshadowing what is to come.